talk about our questions via email. So we had a previous Blueprint owner that sort of bought the upgrade and is now very serious about getting back in and getting into the married put technique with the different income methods. And I mean serious as the point, as you'll see in just a moment, but here are the questions that Rick sent via email today. So I've continued to study the blueprint and, as I said, taking copious notes, along with building some Excel templates to compare the different strikes, to compare the different risk rewards and so forth. We have that on the Trade Simulator tool. Says, I still feel tenuous about asking inappropriate questions during the webinar. Here are a couple I've come up with. Are they okay? Of course they are. Now, I didn't answer you via email, Rick, because I was putting these slides together after a couple coaching sessions, a couple other email responses I had to give out today, and a couple other phone calls, naturally, that came in. So I didn't answer your email. I'm going to answer it now. But of course, any questions are fine that come into the open forum Q&A session. If a question is posted that is out of bounds, that one of your comments later mentioned that I know is you're looking for financial advice, and I'm not asking you for financial advice. If a question comes in that I feel I can't answer well, I'll do more research on it and present it later. If it's a question that I feel crosses that line of financial advice versus educational discussion, I'll let you know as well. If it is a question I feel is posed for Blueprint owners or Fusion Power Option subscribers only, then you'll see it as a members only presentation. I won't gloss over it, but I'll tell you, hey, this is something more for Blueprint owners and radioactive traders only. This is something more in depth for Power Options users. Rarely do I do that, but if I feel that that's the case, I'll let you know. But 90% of the time, it's not. They're perfectly fine. So what are these questions Rick asked? Updated to the most recent edition of the Blueprint. Had it before, didn't really go through it. Here we are. He says, you've been part of radioactive trading for many years, maybe 20. What would you say are your top 3 tips? What would be your best yearly profit and loss estimate using radioactive trading? What would be your worst yearly profit and loss? Now, let me clear this up first by saying this. I've been trading the radioactive trading techniques for about 16 to 17 years. I've been with Power Options for about 20 to 22 years, Rick. Kurt Frankenberg, original author of the Blueprint, fantastic gentleman, martial arts instructor, knows about how to control risk and leverage and using that leverage to beat opponents in the ring. He came up with the married put ideas. You saw this in your Blueprint. He came up with the married put ideas because he paid thousands of dollars to learn how to trade covered calls and calendar call spreads. And in the first few months of trading, they said, hey, you're doing really good. You should be trading these covered calls on leverage to maximize your return. Leverage the stock ownership. Do 50% margin on the stock and sell the calls, and you'll double or triple your returns that you've been making. And of course, he did that, and knock on wood, what happened? The first trade he did that on fell about 45, 50, 60%. So he's on the hook for a margin call, lost essentially everything that he had put aside for trading, following that guru's advice. But then he realized that he was in a covered call structure. He had a capped gain, but it was giving him some downside protection. But with this decline and erroneously trading it on margin and not controlling risk, the money went somewhere. Someone made money on that decline. But how could he take advantage of a bullish market 68, 70, 71, 75% of the time while controlling risk against these securities that fall 30, 40, or 50%? And that's how he developed the married put idea. And he looked at, everyone talks about married puts. You buy a stock, you buy a 1 month output that's 2 or 3 strikes below, you pay 40 cents for it, you've got a 12 or 15% risk. Then he started looking at the Kelly criterion. Then he started looking at the lie of leverage in Gambler's Ruin, where if I have a 10% loss, I don't need a 10% gain to get back to break even. I need an 11.1% gain. If I have a 25% loss, I need a 33% gain on what I have left to get back to break even. If I suffer a 33% loss, I need a 50% gain on what I have left to get back to break even. But if I suffer a 5% loss, I don't need a 10% gain to get back to break even. I only need a 5.3% gain to stay in the game. And that's what it came out to be. So I originally started trading Kurt called me up, much as other investors done for a coaching session. And he asked, how can I use the search tools to find these married put positions? And I walked him through it, and he said, okay, I don't want to use the 1 month out, 2 strikes below, control risk to 10% and only pay 40 or 50 cents. I want to go 8 to 10 months out in time. Buy a put that's 1 or 2 strikes, 3 strikes higher than the current stock price in the money to control risk to 4, 5, or 6%. And I said, okay, I could show you how to do that, but I don't see how you're going to make money. He said, let me show you how I make money. Come to my next webinar. And I did, as you are doing now. And I was so impressed by his approach that I invited Ernie to the next webinar. That's when Ernie decided this would be great for Power Options customers. This would be great for people in Ernie's age group that are at or near retirement and are looking to protect everything they've worked so hard to earn over their 40, 35 years, 50 years of working. And so Ernie partnered up with Kurt, and we went from there. All right. So we're going to talk about that in a moment too, but I've been trading radioactively for about within 50% of my portfolio now for about 12 years, but I've been trading radioactively, started doing that instead of covered calls, the standard collar spreads I was doing because I saw the benefits of it. That's been since about 2008. You'll see it exactly in just a few moments. In any case, your questions, the top 3 tips for getting back in, and they seem simple, but they're vastly important. Number 1, grasping the concept of the benefit of limiting the risk, is just the start. You get it. I know it. But so many people say, oh, I had many other emails here, but some people say, oh, why would I buy that in the money put 8 months out of time? Why am I buying a stock at 93 and paying $22 for a put that's 8, 10, 15 months out in time? Why am I adding to the cost? If you own a house, you're paying a high premium to insure that house in case of the unknowns. In most states, especially in my state here in Delaware, but in most states, you have to have insurance while driving, not only to cover your car, but to cover other people, because accidents happen. And that can be $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, depending on the accident and the damage as well. The concept of limiting the risk is so important, but it's also the benefit of seeing what you've missed. The trade simulator tool, we talk about this in the blueprint. We talk about this in various webinars. It's a tool at radioactivetrading.com under the resources tab. You can put in your values of what you're expecting for your expected return on a trade. Let's say I'm trading covered calls, monthly or weekly. Let's say monthly. I'm expecting a 2.5% return if I'm assigned. It gives me a 5% downside protection, but I'm going to close it out if the stock drops 7%. And I might only be losing 7 or 8%. And I have a 70% success rate. After 100 trades, flip the coin 100 times. Are you hitting your goals with those ratios? Putting in $10,000, $15,000, $50,000, 100 trades, I make 2.5% when I'm right. I lose 7 or 8% when I'm wrong. Yeah, there's some give in between, but a 70, 72, 73% success rate. Am I making goals? No, you're not. Trade Simulator tool will show you that. See what your expected profits are. Now flip the coin. Control your risk. So I put in my expected gains, 6, 7, 8, 9%, somewhere in that range. But I put my losses at 4, 5, or 6%. Flip that same coin 100 times, random wins and losers in a row. You could be right only 54, 55% of the time and still make money. You can't do that with covered calls, cash secured naked puts, out of the money credit spreads, iron condors. Kurt describes it in the blueprint as trading with a safety net. He has a story there. We went to with his daughter to the mall at the time when she was really young. She has her own family now. He's a grandpa, but hey, they went to the mall. He's a martial arts guy, and they saw a trampoline there, so he went in and he started doing, and she was like, Daddy, do a flip. He's like, I can't. But then there was another trampoline that had a harness, a safety net. You put that on, you can't fall out. You can't fall on the floor. It's got you to your height. So he could do back flips, front flips, and more with no fear. That's what the married put is. It's trading without fear. All right. I'm going to talk about that more in a moment too. But number two, Rick, don't get overwhelmed. You're not just learning a new strategy. You're not just learning new applications of using these options into a long stock holding position, how it compares to covered calls, cash secured naked puts. Why aren't calendar spreads better? I had an email today I had to answer about, hey, the married put is great, but why don't I just substitute a leap call? And now I'm bulletproof based on the protection of the put. That's not how the math works. And I just show them the difference between using an in the money long strangle, trying to substitute a long call for the long stop, which does not have a delta of 1, which has its own time value. So now you've doubled the risk, and percentage-wise, your risk is now double digits, 27, 30, 35%. You're using leverage, but you're also going against the lie of leverage and gambler's ruin. You're risking 30 to 40% on that trade if the stock stays between the strike prices. You're just not learning a new strategy. You're changing years and years of trading advice on options, everything thrown down your throat. I get the same emails as well. Hey, use this strategy. You can make 300% in 6 months. You can make 500% in 6 months. Okay, you're showing me your closed trades. Where are your open trades that you rolled on these leverage positions? 0 data expiration options. We're making 1.5%, 2% on 0 data expiration iron condors following this technique. How much time are you devoting to that? I tried it twice last year. And it took up most of my morning just to follow the trades, manage the bells and whistles that were going off. That's not for me. But as shown, and is going to be shown, that's why we're here to walk you through it. So top 3 tips: grasping the concept first, limiting risk, seeing how powerful that actually is. Don't get overwhelmed, because it's not just a new trading system. It's not just new terminology. Okay, we call it income method number 1, income method number this, income method number that. I'll describe that in a moment. But we're here to walk you through it, so don't worry about that. Then, talking about the income methods, in the blueprint, in members-only content, in the free other bonus that's there, the income method cheat sheet, we discuss the CEGA model, our decision-making process for each income method in the blueprint. What are the current conditions? What are your expectations now going forward? What are your goals for the trade? Well, it's to make money, of course, but what are the realistic goals for the trade? That determines your action. That's written out for you, and that's important. Okay? There's a rhyme and reason for each income method, and sometimes you could misuse them and still benefit. Sometimes you can misuse them and really throw yourself off course. And that's, of course, why we're here for this. All right, the CEGA model, the 3 main tips. Grasping the concept of the benefit of limiting risk is just the start. Seeing how it actually benefits you. Don't time your trades. Trade time. Don't worry about trying to buy at the low point, because you've got the put in place. And then there's going to be another time when the stock's at a low point where you can use that income method number 9 to average down. Instead of putting more money in, you're getting paid to average down. Don't get overwhelmed. I know I'm throwing a lot of terms out there. You're used to it in the blueprint. Someone new who's attending this webinar might not know it, but they know the general idea of what we're talking about. You're changing years and years of trading advice, education about generate income, sell premium, sell premium, sell premium. Hey, 15% of my portfolio is in bull put credit spreads, following the weekly pull put criteria on power options. 5 or 10% is in calendar spread, 10 to 12 is in calendar spreads on stocks I can't afford to do as a married put position. I already mentioned that I buy calls and buy puts with that 3 to 5% of my portfolio. I've got other market hedges, buying calls on the VIX, puts on SPY or QQQ to protect the bull put credit and calendar spread side of my portfolio. All of them have it different ways. I am generating income on those, but it shouldn't be 50, 60, 70, 80% of your portfolio, where you have an unrealized potential for large losses to the downside with cap gains of only 2, 3, or 4%. Flip that to the upside. Control your risk to 2, 3, or 4%. Potentially bulletproof your trades. Use a stock insurance tool to guarantee your protection on Palantir and the other position you mentioned, you had unrealized gains on. But we're here to walk you through it. Then the importance of the CEGA model. I showed that, I might use 5 or 6 different income methods where earning only uses 3 or 4. but know the CEGA model discussed in the blueprint for each of the income methods and your income method cheat sheet that's available in one of the bonuses, but is available in the blueprint pod at Radioactive Trading as a blueprint owner. There's rhyme and reason for each one. And for others of you, of course, that are just maybe a little bit overwhelmed yourself or thinking, what did Mike just go through? Hey, remember, special bonus offer for the blueprint's been extended. All electronic access. It's no longer a hard copy. It's all electronic access. We've extended it for the next, 8 to 10 days or so. You can still lock in all the special end of year bonuses for the blueprint if you pick it up in the next 8 or 10 days. But the importance is trading with a safety net, controlling the risk, looking at the unknown. Why do I have to average down stocks anymore? I don't, because I was in the proper structure where as the stock fell 10, 15 to 20% unexpectedly, instead of buying more shares and putting more money in, I could just manipulate that put, that second working asset in the married put combination. 4 ways to do it with the put option, whether stock is up, down, stagnating even, or to profit in both directions.